This is step 11, and it's a big step. It's got a lot going on. We're going to assemble the gear, and we're going to assemble that to the chassis. Here are all the pieces. I've gathered all the pieces here. A couple of things to make note of is these little washers have a notch on them on this side. You see that? So just, I don't know if that matters. I would assume it does. They must interlock. I haven't built this yet, but I'm guessing. Keep an eye on that. Another thing to definitely keep an eye on are these washers here. These MB10s. They have a slight curve to them, and you're actually going to sandwich them together with the curve facing out for each one when you do this, when you assemble these. So very subtle things to think about, but definitely there. The rest of the components, pinion gear and its set screw, the other side of the axle, a ball bearing that's going to go into the gear diff, and then all the pieces to the gear diff, which you're looking at here, and some diff grease. I also have some old ones from other kits. I'll try and empty those out first and see what I've got left. I also have Vaseline, and this is where I go a little rogue, because I really don't like these kinds of gear setups, because this gear is open and exposed. If you run the car outside, this gear gets full of dirt, it wears out, and try and find a replacement for it, you know? So what I've done in the past with my Formula One cars is I've created a little gearbox cover that I'm going to make with aluminum foil, but I'm using the Reynolds Wrap heavy duty stuff that you use like on your barbecue grill that gives you some thickness. Folded it over, these I folded over 3 times each from a sheet. I measured it to, right now, that's why I put the gear in, kind of the width of all of this. I'll cut it about here, cut about 1 inch of these off from this particular sheet. I just eyeball all of this stuff. And I'm gonna make a little pocket between these two. So one will be inside the gear, one will be on the outside of the gear. The gear will no longer be visible. I can smatter it with a lot of Vaseline and keep the elements out of it, because otherwise these gears just don't last very long. So that's kind of my solution to this problem. I'll try and build it right here for you so you can see what it really looks like. They last forever. I mean, I never have to touch them once I build them usually, unless I've raced it on some, driven it on some rough parking lot and it wore the bottom out, but that hasn't happened in quite a while. And I'll double up, the seam will be on the bottom, so I'll make the bottom extra thick so it's got a little bit of a rub area. And you'll see. So with that, let me put you back on my tripod and I'll get to work. There you go. Home sweet home. Try and get that down a little bit without you falling over. How's that? Okay, pretty good. Maybe zoom out of here. Okay, I'm gonna work now. So the first thing they want me to do, it looks like, is to put these. I'm gonna take the. I got a washer in here that I'm gonna pull out because I don't know which way. I just threw it in. So we have some ball bearings that have to go in, which are in a bag here. Got these fellas right there. They go into those holes and they get covered. They get greased and covered. So, and let's see if there's anything special about them as far as the spur gear is concerned. I'm looking to see if there's a top or a bottom to this spur gear, if it's a one-way thing, and it is. So we want this to be the top side with the lip that is rising up. This got an indentation in there where you put one of these washers, right? So let's lay this down and let's do the fun part of putting that together, right? Let's see how fun it is. There's 6 of these. I've got 3. I've got 3, 6. I've got 8 balls here. I don't know if they gave me spares or not, but we don't need 8. We need 6. So that's that. They're rolling all over my floor, as I figured they would. Put these 2 back in the bag, and let me seal that up, just because who knows, maybe there's someplace else that ball bearings have to go later, or maybe they're just spares. All right. I don't know if they snap in. Oh, they do fall into place. 1, 2. So yeah, they get pushed in. 3, 4, 4, 4. This one's, there we go. 4, 5. You guys see where the 6th one went? I see it. And 6. Okay. And they get greased. Well, let's grease them. Let's see if I got any grease here. Yep. This is ceramic grease. This is Tamiya grease. This is rear diff, yeah. So this is the same grease. So I probably shouldn't, let's see if there's a difference. I think this is clear, or is it white? Is this white too? Maybe it's lithium. That looks like lithium grease. This looks more like Vaseline. I don't know if that matters or not, but hey, you know, I'll use it. I might as well. Waste not, want not. There we go. That's lots of grease now. Good and greasy. Okay. I could smush those around. I could get some grease on this. So this is in the middle here. Then we got one of these washers, these off-white washers goes underneath it. And it looks like they're showing the notch as facing up. I don't see where there's a notch on the inside of this gear at all. But I'll put the notch facing up and we'll see what happens. I fit it in. I now have grease on my fingers. And I do have a napkin. So that's in. Then one of these rings, and all this is going to go and sit on top of the axle. This gets greased and sits on top of this, which is GB3, like so. And the top surface of this metal piece will get some grease. So we'll do that. All right, grease that up. Greasy, greasy. That's greased. And that goes underneath, right? Then we got another one that sits on the top of all these balls. And that too gets greased. And once again, we've got, this is what I will call the top piece. This is GB2, and it gets a washer both top and bottom. Once again, I don't see any notch, but I see that you can see that in the diagram they do show the notches facing upward in this case as well. So I'm just going to adhere to this rule whether it matters or not. And I've done that little sub-assembly, and that goes like so. So now you've got, there's these GB1s in here, there's one in there, which is not flush. And we want it flush, so let me fix that. There, it's pressed in properly this time. We'll stick that on top. And we'll get more goop. I think I've run out of goop on that one, on that tube. So I'm gonna, oh, this looks different. So I'm gonna suck that back in. I guess I'll just start using what they gave me and punch a hole in that. And get this all lubricated. Get that lubricated here around the metal. Come on. This tube seems to have more air than grease in it. Come on. Wow. Very little. Thought it would be a nice full tube. Hardly anything in it. And we'll sandwich that down. Okay, so that's kind of, I'm just going to sit there with that for the moment as I try to assemble the my version of a gearbox, right? So let me, I'm going to rise this up a little bit. I just happen to have a drink coaster handy. I think I need another one. Let me grab another one. Set that underneath. That gives me a little extra height. And I think that'll work. So right about here, I'm going to poke a hole. You know, if I had, you know, this is a little different than my other setups because, oh, I've got a little play in here. Good. All right. I'm going to take this axle off because I want to get the pinion gear inside of this shield that I'm making. So let's do that. Take that off for the 30th time. Got an axle right about there. I'll give it a little extra right about here. Make a little mark. And let me see where that falls gear on the gears if I were to center this. I just want to make sure the gear is covered. I think it is. Hopefully I will do this right the first time. It's not a big risk if I don't, but I would like to. And I just need to poke a hole through the aluminum foil. So I've got something that's got a hole in it, and I'll punch this through for the axle. And I'll make it a little wider with this screwdriver shaft. All right, do that. And then I've got to, the next thing I got to do is mark where the pinion gear is going to go on this little casing. That's right there. So I've got that. Let's make sure that works. Yep, right there. I need something tinier to poke a hole. So it's off to my jeweler's screwdrivers. Get my littlest, second littlest maybe. Poke a hole with that. Once again, find something that I can use as a backrest that's I can push this through. And we'll see how this fits. Then we can start cutting and trimming as needed. Right? Right. So that's good. Get me started anyway. So now I'm going to put this axle back on to retain this. So this will be inside. I want to make sure I got that right because once this is sealed, I don't want to have to go back in here and find out I screwed up where I tightened this axle. There we go. Make that really good and tight. We don't ever want to come back in there. And you can see that still spins freely. This is pretty good. And for now, just as a placeholder too, I'm going to stick the pinion gear over top of this to hold all this in place. And get its little set screw. Screw that in first. Yeah, I wish they wouldn't do these open gears. I wish they, you know, the all-wheel drive things have a very sophisticated set of gears. Okay, So that's in. And I'll leave this like so for now. And then we'll figure out how I'm going to cut it afterwards. So that's all done. And the next step then would be to lay this assembly here on top of this. Okay, so you see where I'm at with this now? I hope so. So this all now will get picked up and it'll get placed here. Set that down and set this with all the ball bearings down. I see a problem right off the bat. Looks like I gotta move the one of these the motor in away from this gear set a little bit to get this to drop in place. Try not to wreck my beautiful aluminum foil doing that. Let me loosen that and get this motor to slide over enough for me to get this gear set in. There we go. It's in. Good. Nice. It's tight. I'm going to try and give it a little bit of freedom. Okay. See how far I can slide this. Not much. Tightening, tightening, tightening. Bring this back down. Let me tighten the top one. Tightening, tightening, tightening. Good. So, once I stretch this all out, this will be in place like so. So I'm thinking, you know, deadly, I know. I'm thinking I might want to take, I might want to put the aluminum, no, it can't do it there, but I could possibly put the second piece of aluminum foil, instead of having a big ass case, you know, I'm thinking maybe I should put the aluminum foil. This is a weird shape for what I usually do. So that's why I'm in a bit of a quandary, because this piece is much bigger than what you usually see. And then you've got this piece, which goes like so, right? So where can I put the outer piece of this gearbox cover is the question. And I don't know that I've got an answer for that. Ha ha ha. Fool me once, fool me, don't get fooled again. Let's see. I can't put it here. The only place I could put it would be nowhere. They've got this designed very differently than usual. I shouldn't say than usual, but differently than the Formula One. They don't have any of this. It's very easy to set this up. If I put the aluminum foil in there, I don't know if that's how that's gonna affect the rotation of the gears. I guess I could try it. So I mean, this would come off, and then this piece would come off here. But I sort of need, now I can't even do that because this piece is inset to that. And so I can't put aluminum foil there. It's going to screw that up. I don't have enough thickness to get a good bite. I think the best I can hope to do with this then is to just kind of use this as a bit of a shield to keep some of the grease from flying all over the place. And maybe protect it a little bit. Maybe make a wider piece to go in there. Could be the answer. And then, you know, create just something that comes out as a shield to protect the bottom of this gear. I think that's what I'm gonna do, because I want something to keep the dust off this thing. And maybe I can't seal it like I do with the F1 kits that I've built, but let's try doing that. Make something a little bit thicker and just do the one sheet. So, I'm sure you can hear I'm ripping up another piece of aluminum foil. And I got this one as a template here, so I'll make it a bit fatter so I can do more. You'll see. It won't be as good as what I'm used to doing, but it should help. Right? I'm hoping anyway. I know, hope is not a strategy. But, you know, that grease just, you mix it with dirt, it gets all over the inside of the body. It's a real eyesore. And like I said, it, you know, if dirt gets on there, it just makes it all the worse on the wear and tear. So I'm just doing this over again and see if I can make something. I made this one a little thicker since this is going to be the only piece I use. It's I've folded it over like 4 times. Gonna cut the edge here to make that pretty. I'm gonna disassemble this again, taking off this and taking off that and undoing the axle yet again. And we got to take the pinion gear off. Find that. Get that off. Voila. Take that. I'll put that right about in the center here. And poke a hole. With something. There we go. Right about there. See if I can find that area to poke a hole through it. I think I'm off camera. Sorry about that. I'll try and get on camera. I'm just poking a hole. Sticking this piece back through. It's a little bit thicker than the last hole I made, so I used the smaller diameter screwdriver. This will fix it. Okay. Do that. Get this in. That's good. Poke a hole here. Using my jeweler's screwdriver, I'm going to poke a hole here. All right. So we're kind of going back to square one. Poke that into the pinion of the motor. Let's get that lined up. Good. Get this one lined up. Good. Good. Right. Okay. Love that. Put the axle back on. Looking for the flat spot of the axle. Where is the flat spot? There it is. Right. Right there. Okay. Hold that in place. Put you in, hold you in place. Tighten. Tighten more. That's good. Time to put the pinion gear back on. Get that in place. Give that a rub-a-dub-dub. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Yes, tight. Now we'll reassemble this structure. Put that back together. That slips on much better than it did the last time. I'm going to pull the pinion gear out a little bit. It's a little too far down. Right about there. Keeps falling. If I could just get the Allen screw in where it belongs, I could fix it. Hold still. There we go. Up, 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 up. And tighten. Good. So there you go. So what I'm going to do now is, you know, just kind of make a skid plate out of this as best that I can do, I guess, is something along these lines where I'm going to just create a shelf like that. And hopefully that'll help protect that gear a little bit when I put the car on the track or wherever I put it, or on my model shelf. But I wanna make this workable, you know. It's not cosmetically pretty, but I think it's necessary. I really do. And I really think it'll help. And so I'll do that, and I'll cut away some excess, maybe about here. One good thing about this is it's replaceable, you know? It can all be redone. Looks okay. Looks okay. I mean, I can even fold some of this onto itself. A little bit. Sort of make a little boxy shield here. Do a little gift wrap thing with it. So that might help keep the body clean. See that? So let me finish the assembly now. At least I've got it to there. So let me finish the assembly, which is putting this piece on top, like so. Right? Then we put a ball bearing, which is MB9. I think it's the only one of the kind. Okay, you can actually see the balls in this one. It's not like a sealed bearing, so that's on. Then these two washers go next. The ones that you want both convex sides facing outward, which is hard to see. Let me make sure I'm doing that right. Yeah, that looks right. And that looks right. There's not much of a curve to these, I'll tell you that. I slip those on, then goes this MB13 is this one. I think this is another one of the one-of-a-kind pieces. And then that gets capped with one of the MB6s, which there's only two of, and we already used one. Sorry, I dropped it. It's this washer, this bolt with the smooth bottom, not with the serrated bottom, or textured bottom, I guess would be a better word. Let me screw this all together. Guess I gotta hold the other side still. do that while we tighten this. This is a crazy assembly. I have never done one like this. Not that I've built a ton of these. I've built 4 in my day. So I guess this is good. I'm hoping. I don't know. I think I built it okay. Seems a little tight to me. I have a feeling I'll be making some adjustments on this. Something just tells me. I don't think it's because of my shield here. I don't think. I'm going to fold that as well to and I may have to cut and trim this way more as I see how it fits against the body and all of that stuff. But for now, I think I've got this together the way it's supposed to go. I'm just looking it all over, and yeah. Yeah. So the question is, these wheels, how do these wheels work? You know, what I think happens? These wheels get screwed in. That could be why these are so long. These screws here. If you look, the wheel has 2 screw holes. So I think these get pulled. They have to. There's no way this wheel assembly can go on otherwise. Well, that's down the road, but I think that makes sense to me as to why now that screw is as long as it is. It won't be down the road. So I'll give you a fly in and show you the assembly complete. That's what we've got. This black here and all of this assembly corresponds to this portion of the directions, okay? That's all this. That looks like it's correct. The pinion gear is the pinion gear. The diff gear is the diff gear. That's all this assembly to that point. And I think with that, we've completed step 11. So let's see what step 12 has to bring us in terms of surprises, okay? See you soon.